Good afternoon. This is show 3 of the Can Creative Live show. It's just 4 o'clock and you are in time to talk to our guest about art and culture in Kent. My name is Nathalie Banex, and every Tuesday at this time we will be talking about what creative people do in the county, different interviews, features, everything about lives and works of creative people in Kent. You can get in touch with us through Twitter with the handle Can Creative Art. We have a hashtag Can Creative Live Show. You can follow us on Facebook with the Can Creative Live Show page, and you can go on the website cancreativelive.org. So to start this week, we have Emma Dewhurst from WOW magazine. Hello, Emma.
Hello, Natalie.
And we have Hazel Addley, who is a professional coach.
Hi.
Hello, both of you. They are just there. Perfect. And we will also play a feature about the memory exhibition in Margate. So, Emma Dewhurst of WOW magazine and website.
Yes.
You are the founder and editor. You're also a professional actress.
I am.
And you teach drama to children with Down syndrome.
Yes.
That should keep you busy.
It certainly does.
Yes. So tell us about what you do then. Let's start with WOW magazine.
Okay. 5 years ago, I had a need to change my life. I wanted to start a business, which I had never done before. I, up to that point, had done all sorts of different jobs because being a professional actress, you invariably end up filling your time with a lot of things that aren't acting. I decided I wanted a little bit more control over my life and that I'd like to start something that I led myself. And what that led me to was starting WOW magazine. It actually was launched as WOW Medway because that's where I live, and also it's an acronym, what's on where, WOW, but also I wanted to say to people, wow, look at where you live. It's amazing. It's got so much going on and you can access so much from where you are. Medway, I think, was coming out of a long period of depression in terms of its own identity, largely to do with the dockyard closing some years before. And I just wanted to put a really positive spin on things. And I could see, being an outsider who had moved down from London, that there was a need for a magazine that told people what was going on, particularly in the area of the arts, which was my both my passion and my area of knowledge.
Well, I was just about to ask that, if there was a need, because there isn't a magazine really for people to find out what's going on. I know people keep asking each other, do you know what's going on here and there? But
yeah.
So did you mean to be the one place where people could find out about their area?
Absolutely. I had moved down from London 5 years previously, and I could not find the equivalent of Time Out, which is the magazine I had used all my life in London. Up to that point, it was mainly just a print magazine, Time Out. It's now largely gone online, of course, although they do still print a print magazine to lead you to the online information. And I looked for that magazine in Medway when I arrived. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find my arts community. I couldn't find the people that I wanted to socialise with. And so that's what led me to start the magazine.
Excellent. And how, did you get support from the start to do it, or was it hard work straight away pretty much on your own?
It was crazy. I took out a loan for 3 months. How optimistic I was. And thinking I would be earning money after that. And in fact, I didn't pay myself anything for 2.5 years. So it was a crazy journey and quite a struggle. I did get a Medway Council startup grant for, businesses that are just starting up. So I did get £1,000 after about 6 months, I think it was, which was fantastic, which is the only money I think I've had invested in WOW. Yeah.
Because obviously there is a lot of research to do to find the information, then it needs to be designed and printed and distributed.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
did you have a network of people to help you with that?
No, at the beginning I had nobody at all. Apart from I found a fantastic person to design the magazine, Paul Baker of A Stone's Throw.
Oh, he's still working on it.
Absolutely. He stayed with me through thick and thin, and in fact 2 years ago became my business partner, came into the magazine rather than me paying him. He gets paid even less now.
Good plan.
He's a joy, and he's truly talented. And I had Paul. I had a printer, obviously, and I basically began the magazine doing everything myself, literally everything. I quickly found some writers, and I found people to just people began to offer their support because they liked the magazine, they could see what it was doing, and that's how it grew.
Excellent. Now, I hear your latest issue has been out just recently.
It's actually just gone to print.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
So
I have I do 11 issues a year, but this one is the joint December-January issue, so it's covering a lot of January as well. And it went to print yesterday, so I'm a little tired today.
No, really.
It's always crazy towards copy deadline time.
So where can people find the magazine?
It's distributed across Medway, Maidstone and Gravesend, with a little bit, a smattering of copies go to rural areas like Eccles and a few go to Dartford. But it's in all sorts of coffee shops, galleries, libraries, art centres, all over the place. You can also read it online.
Excellent. So that takes us to the campaign you have launched. So I'll let you explain what it's about.
Right. So as I said, I haven't had any financial support for WOW other than the income it gets from its advertising sales. And being just me and Paul, we have really struggled to make the magazine work as a viable small business. It's that strange thing of we've been a victim of our own success. So we've grown the magazine, it's become extremely popular, extremely used and needed, etc., etc. But we ourselves are still, to a certain extent, subsidising it, because when we don't bring in enough from ad sales, we end up not paying ourselves. So I decided that what I needed to do really was to change the business model of the magazine so that some of the income comes from reader subscriptions. So I've launched a crowdfunding campaign, which is actually currently live, and we are hoping to raise a lot of money. In fact, it's a large target, £35,000, to change the whole model of the magazine and the way it runs.
And the crowdfunding campaign seems quite appropriate because it is popular. It's very much a community magazine.
It is.
So you hope that people who do benefit from that will support you.
Yes.
Right. So when does the campaign finish, and which platform is it on?
Yes, it's live until the 7th of December. You can actually access it via our own website. There's a link right from the homepage of our website, wowkent.co.uk, or you can go on to Indiegogo, which is the crowdfunding platform, and discover all sorts of really interesting projects alongside mine as well. It's a really fascinating way for very small enterprises to raise money. I must say, even if it's not successful, it's been a very, very interesting journey.
Excellent. Now, for those who are not maybe aware of what crowdfunding is, the principle is to raise money from many people who give a small amount.
Yes.
And that produces supposedly a massive amount of money.
Absolutely.
Using a crowd out there. So your community should support that. Let's just make clear what the campaign is for. The campaign is for the print version of the magazine, but you still keep the online version on.
Definitely.
Which is not just for Medway. Your website, the art calendar is for the whole of Kent, isn't it?
Yes, it's sometimes it's tricky for me because they both come under the brand of WOW, but in fact I launched the website quite a long time after the magazine. I got a grant to do it from Ideas Test. I was identified as somebody who engages other people with the arts, and they had a certain amount of money from the Arts Council to promote the arts in Medway and Swale. So I applied to them for some money. I won the money, which was fantastic. And with that money, I made a very lovely arts listings website for the whole of Kent. So it's absolutely all arts, but the lovely thing is it's very much user generated, the content, because you can go up there and put your own content onto the site.
Yeah, exactly. I've done it, and it
Hurrah.
works. It works. right. And Hazel, you've done it as well.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, excellent. See, good
Hurrah.
stuff.
Two
Good
users.
Stuff. So what's going to happen if you do not raise the money you're expecting?
Okay, so first of all, I will hang my head and cry. And
then...
then...
no, we'll come and give you a hug.
No, it'll be fine. To be honest with you, Natalie, it looks like that might happen. So that's an interesting situation to be in. I'm actually in a really strange place with it because I'm thrilled that we've managed to raise £6,000 in however many days, 14 days, whatever it is, quite incredible. But because our target is so high, obviously that's a lot of more money to raise in another 2 weeks when the campaign ends. So I think what I'm going to do is, which is what I've always said I'm going to do with all the content I've written about it, is to stop printing the print magazine and to personally take a moment to think about how I will use the information that still comes to me, because so many people send me their arts information. I will definitely keep the website going because it is a separate thing and because people can still use it, and I would like to grow that and develop it. I'm quite interested in that side of the business. And also, I believe in it. I really want to spread the word as to what's out there and help develop audiences and help with the regeneration of the areas that we've been talking about, which is what WOW Magazine has done.
Yeah, it's crucial. I mean, we know a lot of artists and creative people, their top priority is to promote their work.
Yeah.
So you need to tell people what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, as long as the online version stays, we'll have something.
The online version will stay. I won't make the magazine as such because I won't be able to afford the time to make it. And maybe that's a good thing. You know, I've done it for 5 years. So I'm trying to be very pragmatic.
Yeah, transition time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. So that might include more of your acting work. Tell us about
it may
you as
well.
an actor.
I hope it does include more of my acting work. Yes. So I've had a very quiet year on the acting front.
Yeah, well, maybe that would be time to get back. So tell us, what have you done? What is the plan, if there is one?
Yes. Well, I trained years and years and years ago when I left university, and then I did a great deal of theatre all over the place, and in such auspicious places as the National Theatre and London's West End and all of that. I've done all of that and loved it. Worked with some very, very interesting people. But since I had my daughter, it's been harder to go off for 6 nights a week and do theatre. I just don't want to. I have done it since having her, but it was a logistical nightmare. And I spent just about every spare penny on childcare. So while I was quite fulfilled by doing it, it was very, very difficult. And I think now she's older, I just want to be there when she gets home. So that's why WOW suits so well. So I still have an acting agent, and every now and again I go up to London and do an interview and get a little cameo in TV or film. And that's the way it's been going for a while. So, you know, the lovely thing about acting is you never need to give it up. You can act. My mother's 85 and she still acts.
It's in the family.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So is your daughter showing any interest in the creative arts?
Not in acting, thank God. I would wholeheartedly discourage her from being an actor. No, I wouldn't. It's just a really hard life. You know, it's hard to make it work. You have to have something else going on alongside it.
So maybe you could go for something a bit easier next.
Yeah.
You had a few challenges in your professional career, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah, you could say that.
But that's still enjoyable.
Yes, it is. And I wouldn't change any of it, to be honest with you. It's interesting. It's all grist to the mill, as my mother would say.
Perfect. So can you tell us then how people can get in touch with you? Is it just the website, or you have an email or Facebook page, Twitter, all these things?
I have all those things.
Go on.
Okay, so starting with Twitter, I have a personal Twitter handle, which is at Emma Dewhurst 7. Or there is one for WOW, the website, which is WowKent_arts. And we have a WOW Kent Facebook page. And you can get in touch with me via my email, which is editor@wowkent.co.uk, and it's always lovely to hear from people.
Excellent, I bet it is. Now, all this will be on the kentcreativelife.org website later on, or maybe tomorrow. But we'll speak to you a bit later. Emma, thank you very much for all these details so far. And we're going to have a very quick break, and I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Rift Research and Development. Tax rewards for innovative small businesses. riftresearch.com.
Hello, we are back.
Hello.
So now you are still listening to the Can Creative Live show on Channel Radio. So we've been speaking to Emma Dewhurst from WOW magazine, and now we're going to speak to Hazel Addley. Move the microphone. Hello, Hazel.
Hello.
She's been there before. Everybody knew her in the station. Hello, Hazel. Hello.
Hi.
So Hazel is a coach, and she says, I coach creative professionals and entrepreneurs to pursue their passions and to design a life they love. So Hazel, tell us more about what you do and what your background is.
Okay, thank you. So as I said, I coach creative professionals to pursue their passions, which is a mix of professional passions or personal passions. Normally it's professional, so people who run a business or feel stuck in their career in some way. So I coach them to work out what the resistances are, to overcome them, and then really progress concertedly towards what they kind of desire. And I also coach people around on a more kind of life level, on a holistic level, around consciously and proactively designing a life that you love. And I've just finished the pilot of the programme, and it's just an amazing honour. And I've worked with creative professionals and small business owners on that one.
Yeah, you'll tell us more about that. So there will be loads of I know quite a few people who have been, and yes, there is loads of things on this programme where Emma and we need this programme, don't we?
I think I could be giving Hazel a call.
Love it.
Do you do group sessions as well?
I do online group coaching with Design a Life You Love,
Excellent.
but my coaching is normally via Skype or telephone.
Yeah, right.
And my background, I went to art college and did my foundation, and hastily realised I didn't want to do a degree in the arts. I became very creatively blocked because I guess my personal life at the time was kind of hitting a scrunch point, a transition point. So I went and started teaching circus skills. And as you do, I did that for 3 years and worked in a bookshop alongside, and then went on to become an arts manager and had a career as an arts manager for maybe 8 to 10 years. So I've worked alongside the arts and with creative people most of my working life, and I've worked all sorts of sort of creative situations, places, local charities, national charities, government funded programmes, all sorts.
Excellent.
So, the arts is always in my life somehow.
Yeah. Well, there are lots of things to discuss, but you're here today to focus maybe a little bit more on confidence, or I should say lack of confidence, with artists and creative people. A lot of creative people who are quite talented are quite insecure, are they not? And it can be quite horrible to doubt yourself when you have a lot of talent, because it stops you from taking action. You don't get the result you deserve, and you feel a bit down, and things don't happen. So is that lack of confidence something you have noticed particularly in creative people?
I think it's a human condition.
Definitely.
But I work with creative people most. Often I think the term confidence is actually a mask for something else, some other barrier or resistance. And you can be really confident in one area of your life or profession and unconfident in another. So you might be really confident in producing your work, but really unconfident in selling your work. So it can really vary. And as a coach, I don't necessarily work with people directly to improve their confidence. They improve their confidence through being coached. So we look at, again, it's what I mentioned with Design Life You Love. It's things that hold you back, the resistances you feel. And if you partner kind of working on those, so I see those like, if you imagine hanging a load of rocks off the back of your coat, and that's all the negative things you feel in life. If you gradually chop all those off, you then can go forwards in a lighter way, and then you have naturally more confidence. And the other thing that coaching helps with confidence is through taking action. So if you're avoiding selling your work, if you're avoiding putting yourself into a position where you can sell your work, the fear and the lack of confidence is going to increase.
A lot of this lack of confidence shows with pricing.
It really does, because I think people worry about getting it wrong. There's issues around self-worth. Am I good enough? Is my work worth it? Will I be judged on this? When there actually maybe isn't a black and white answer to what's right or wrong in that realm. There's advice you can follow. But I think I'll show you the common things that I find come up in my coaching and in my workshops are things like resistances around going for what you want. So maybe you don't know how to price it, or you don't know how to sell your work, or whatever it is you feel. And this can translate across anything in your life. So think of something you feel unconfident about. And if you don't know how to do it, you then use that as an excuse. It could be that you think, this is too big a thing to overcome. So that can be another one. Or fear of failing, fear of looking like a fool, fear of succeeding. I mean, oh my gosh, if I sell my work and it's really successful, I've got to do more selling. Oh my gosh, that's can be quite scary. And also, sometimes there's limiting beliefs. So not believing it's possible, like no one will want your work. Often these are things that are inbuilt, kind of inherited beliefs. But all of these can be dealt with. They can be let go of. They can be overcome. I actually have a freebie download on my website called What's Stopping You Reach Your Potential that actually looks at some of these issues. So for I don't know how, in coaching we say it's 90% about the why, about why you want the thing that leads to, and only 10% about the how. So don't worry about how. Just set the really clear intention of what you want and why you want it, and really get clear in that why. Roll about in it, get really clear in it. And that's your motivation. And if that's strong enough, then you'll work out the how. And if you think, oh God, that's like a big thing to overcome, what comes to mind is, well, it's excuses, isn't it? Do you really want it? I mean, really question, because often we are unconfident about things, and it's a mask for our intuition telling us it's not the right thing for us. So if it's a should, question it, because that's somebody else's kind of words or energy that you're embodying. So it's better to kind of question a should. And if it's fear, if you're scared in whatever way it is, just remember that fear is part of us that's designed to keep us safe. It's just trying to keep us the same, because there's this kind of part of us that thinks we're safer if we stay in the same place, kind of in our comfort zone. So our biggest challenge in creating anything we want is overcoming our state of inertia. So just be mindful that you can look at that, but you don't have to accept it. You can choose to do what you want regardless of that fear, but that fear will get really clever. So I definitely talk about that in my audio on my website. And if you don't believe it's possible, if you have those sorts of kind of limiting beliefs that are telling you this isn't going to work, again, you can change those. Try and see where they come from, listen out for them, and see whether there's a way that you can kind of shift that. So it could be, what do you want instead? So if that's a weed that you're pulling out, what would be the flower you'd plant in its place? And then practice saying that over and over again. So there's lots of things you can do to kind of cut loose those kind of negative things that are weighing you down, and then your confidence will naturally kind of increase.
Well, yes, and I suppose that if you manage to get things done and you get positive results, and then you realize that you are perfectly capable of doing this, you can keep doing it and you feel better about yourself.
Yeah. And what's funny is, like, you'll move on to the next thing and then wham, you might get hit with some of these again. It's kind of like, I think what I find is you can only progress externally as much as you progress internally. So looking after all those internal workings and having some tools and systems in place to help you keep you working at your optimum. But it's part of how we're made as humans, that you stretch a bit outside your comfort zone, the fear rushes in, you stretch again, the fear rushes in. So it's just being really gentle and loving to yourself that you know that's likely, and just working with it.
And the comfort zone, that's interesting, because I think it's probably best in the long term to expand your comfort zone rather than just stepping out of it every so often. If you practice these little things that you're not very comfortable with on a regular basis, it could be a little thing every day, then you realize that the comfort zone expands and that there are things that you do more often, a lot more comfortably than you used to, because you do them regularly. And the zone in which you were comfortable is actually a bit bigger, and that's a lot more comfortable. Do you?
Yeah, I agree. It's taking small, consistent steps to stretch it. Don't do anything too big, too hard, too fast, because you risk it pinging back and actually getting smaller. So it's gentle steps, pushing it out. But if you don't take steps to kind of gently expand your comfort zone, you actually risk kind of getting shrink wrapped into your comfort zone and kind of getting trapped there. And what I found in life more broadly is that things happen, things change. And if you're not using your creativity and your divergent thinking to gently expand your comfort zone and push your boundaries a little bit, you're ill-equipped, or lesser equipped, I guess, to deal with change when it happens, because you haven't been flexing those muscles. So I think it's a good life strategy.
So how does your program work? How long do you see people, and how often? Is it 1 month, 2 months, 6 months? Is it every day, every week, or do you have different programs?
With my Pursue Your Passion coaching, I normally work with people maybe to 3, 4, 5 months, maybe. Depends on what they need. And that's sort of the one-to-one professional development type coaching. And then with Design the Life You Love, that's a 10-week online group coaching program. And that's starting again mid-January. So I'm opening it up for submissions from December. And that one is much more of a journey that you go on on your individual journey with modules that I send, but we have weekly live group coaching calls. So we troubleshoot, we support each other as a group, and sort of help you get over any hurdles that come up for you as you go along.
And do people get support from the group then, from other people in the group? Is it easy for them to share the situations?
I've got a private Facebook group for that. I think it takes a little while for people to build trust. And some people don't share at all and don't go live on the call at all. Some people just receive the recordings of the call. It's purely down to the individuals. But what I would say, those that have really fully embraced it seem to be able to share the biggest transitions for their life and their profession through the program. And one person is going back through now. She's applied it to her life, and now she's applying the process to her professional life. So I'm quite kind of chuffed, really, that it's so versatile a program.
So what sort of changes have you seen in people that are dramatic?
It's a real mix. So it's a mix of internal expansion and change and confidence growing and really settling within yourself. So finding, some of them have really found who they are with the tools that I've provided, and they've just been able to look at the different scenarios that they were unhappy about as their reasoning for coming along and actually shift those. So some were professional, some were personal. Confidentiality is obviously a big part of what I do, so I won't go into individual cases, but I think overall people have felt able to make considered change because they know what their values are, they know what's important to them. And they've had the confidence, I guess, coming back to confidence, because part of the program is looking inside at shifting the negatives and enhancing the positives. So where they're at emotionally, spiritually, however they want to apply it, they've shifted up the positivity scale, so they're at a much more resilient place by the end of the program. So basically what happens is they know what they want and they've got a plan to go ahead and get it, but equally they love themselves and they love the life they're living right now so much more than when they started.
Well, I was about to ask that. Do people know what they want? Because I keep hearing people who don't really.
For some people, it's like running against a wall and they have to find their route into it. For other people, they write streams and streams of things, but I provide different sorts of questioning to kind of extract that. So some things are looking on a really big picture, allowing yourself to really dream and just go really big scale. So when I did it for myself, because this came about because my long-term relationship ended and my whole life crashed, and I had to rebuild. So I used my coaching skills and my personal development knowledge to sort of do that. And that's how this program came about. When I did it, I found I wanted to do silly things, like I wanted to ride a dragon. One of the exercises, that was one of my answers. I want to ride a dragon. And obviously, I know that's not kind of technically possible. But from that, it gave me the idea of I'd maybe like to ride a horse or embark on some other hobbies along those lines that I might not have thought of before. So it's like you can think as big as you want, but also what's happening in your life right now in all the different priority areas and building on those. So it's not saying you've got to drastically change your life. This program is for if you know you need change. Whatever is part of your life, whatever way you want to apply it, change has to happen, or how you're living your life right now isn't a great fit for you to how you've evolved to being, or things have shifted. So it's not even linked to relationships or profession. It could be much broader, or you can apply it to your home environment, your health. It's really everything is included, but it's what you make of it. I've got someone who's interested in it in respect to planning her retirement and having a purposeful, meaningful retirement. So yeah, it's really diverse.
Yeah, it's to prepare for it. Yeah, be ready. Emma, do you know what is the life you love? No, is that it? What's your program?
It's
to design the life you love.
Well, that's a really interesting question, and I've been listening to Hazel with great interest. Because I do actually feel like I'm at quite a crossroads, because a rather large decision is going to be made in my life in December. What I am aware of is I'm becoming more and more aware of what is important to me and the things I want to more of in my life. They're my daughter, they're love, they're more of a social life, and more art in every way, shape or form. I'd like more time to go to the theatre, pursue my loves, pursue the loves, things that really make me happier, and also to try to contribute more to the world, because it's such a... the world feels very unstable to me at the moment, and my particular way, the thing that I can do is lead people towards the arts, because the arts enhances imagination, and if we don't have imagination, how can we imagine a better world?
We're on the same mission here. Yes,
we
exactly.
Are. Yeah.
Right. So Hazel, if people would like to get in touch with you, what is the best way?
My website, www.hazeladleycoaching.com, and that's Adley, Addley. I've got a Facebook page, Hazel Addley Coaching, and I'm on Twitter regularly, which is Hazel Addley Coac, COAC, because I ran out of letters.
Exactly. Right. Okay. Well, thank you both. We'll speak to you a bit later, I hope. But now we want to broadcast in the show music by Kent musicians. So, by the way, if you know anybody who sings or makes music in Kent, who lives and works in Kent, let us know and we will show it. So we have received a track by Nick Evanet, and the music is called Every Silent Reason. And it's a recent song about letting somebody into your sadness and recovery. It was featured on Pandora Radio in the USA, and we'll play it now. We'll see you in about 3 minutes.
It was good to leave it behind. Can't tell you everything. Rain upon rain upon rain. In the night as you sing your old songs by a dying candle. Let me be a lantern. Let me be the refrain. We will make more time to be undone.
That was Nick Evnet, Every Silent Reason. So you can check her website on soundcloud.com/wingless-night. Nick Evnet. So again, anybody who's got music to play on the show, let us know. So this is the Kent Creative Live Show on channel radio.co.uk. And now we have a little feature that was recorded in Margate on Sunday at the Memory Exhibition. It's a group show with about 70 Kent artists who have expressed their view in artistic ways about memory. And the inspirations are very varied. So you will hear in this feature some artists and some visitors sharing their thoughts about the show, and it shows really the power of artistic expression. We'll see you in about 10 minutes.
I thoroughly enjoyed coming here today. I think the variety of work on offer is just amazing, and I just found the whole thing really thought-provoking. Thank you.
I'm Emily, and I thought it was very interesting.
What was your favourite piece?
I like the sculpture over there.
It's just really interesting how things can be changed, not even sort of consciously, but how you're able to edit things out, especially if they're painful memories. And you have to find a new language to express those memories, and maybe it's not as representational because it's too painful. It's too painful to.
Isn't that one of the points of making art?
Yeah, but it's a different language, isn't it? It's not representational necessarily. It comes out of something much deeper, much rawer, a much rawer emotion, and perhaps the spoken word and actually even the visual. Is too raw, so you have to sort of search for another language. I mean, that's why I really like Roy's work about all those people who died in China.
Yes.
It's so moving.
Very moving.
And what more do you need to say? So there's beautiful little images, with a very sparse information, but it's a very moving, very, very moving piece of work.
I really enjoyed the exhibition. There seemed to be a theme of vascular dementia through many of the pieces, which is personal to me, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it and was very moved. Thank you.
It's an incredibly diverse array of works, and I particularly enjoyed the huge handmade map of Canterbury, which went into an incredible level of detail, which I found fascinating. But I just really enjoyed the way that the space was laid out and the fact that you've left the building in its sort of real state and allowed that to have its own character. So thank you.
Very engaging show, sort of reminder to tune into memories, and we've got some recollections here. We've got distress and recycling material. So for me, it's my kind of thing, really. I mean, we'll get caught up in this technology, and we don't have time. We really have time for memories. We just don't have time. So to come here and see this work. Great exhibition.
If you haven't been to see this show, you should come without delaying for one moment. It's a really remarkable collection of works, and it just shows the extraordinary richness that we have of artists working in Kent who have not just developed their own style and their own ways of working, but the confidence to come and put something in for a mixed show like this. Because I think if you work as an artist, it can be quite alarming to think that your inner works, your concepts and things are going to be judged by somebody. But the fact is, here is an amazing array of work: textiles, sculptures, paintings, photographs, maps. They're extraordinary. There's a little comment about each one, so you could get a bit of an insight into what people were thinking about. And they're all rather moving, actually. Some of them are very, very poignant. Some of them are very funny, and some of them make you want to rush home and have a go yourself. So it's a very inspiring show, and it's rich and meaningful. And we're just so lucky to have a venue like this, which I love, the Pie Factory. It's just such a great place, the gallery, but also such an amazing network of artists to spring off from. I think actually everybody's an artist. Everybody has memories, everybody can make something, everybody can express themselves. And just go, take your children, that's the other thing.
My name's Ruth MacDonald. I'm a painter printmaker. I specialise in silkscreen prints, multi-layered, that I print in the print block in Whitstable, and etchings that I do from my studio in the middle of a wood. I'm really pleased to be exhibiting because it's very nice to participate in a show with such a broad range of thoughts, styles, ideas, media, and to look at how other people have interpreted the theme of memory. So when I read that memory was going to be the theme, I looked at the work I've already got and thought, no, that won't fit the purpose. But possibly I thought it wouldn't fit the purpose because I don't like to reveal too much about myself always. So I decided to do a piece on what people remember Margate about. And to most people it's a day trip, it's the fun. When people didn't go abroad for their holidays, sometimes a week in Margate or even a day was their holiday. So I wanted to produce a piece of, it's a silkscreen print, that was evocative of a time gone by. And lots of people met the love of their life at Dreamland in Margate. So I wanted people to look at it and look as if they were looking at a memory or like a faded photograph. So I chose a map that was really old from the period of the 50s. I chose colours that were, to me, I wanted them to look like they were faded, as though it was an album that you were going through. And there were some ladies having a good time, waving, having fun, and it was a simpler time. It was a time when people enjoyed themselves and enjoyed very simple pursuits and pleasures, in a very different period from now. And somehow it epitomises what Margate's about. I wanted people to look and think, oh yes, I did that. I remember that. One of my pictures that I did about Margate was purchased for somebody for their parents' 50th wedding anniversary to remind them of the day they met Dreamland. And that's what I wanted to evoke.
I'm Sue Bridge. I'm an artist. Started painting with oils and canvas, but my work has now become involved with video, whereby I take my paintings and actually animate them into videos. And I entered 3 pieces into memory, and the one that was chosen was a childhood memory of my dad throwing me over his head on the grass as, a fun game. And because it was a repeated fun game, I animated the painting as a looping move where I run round, he throws me again and I run round, and I put an audio track to it just to add joy and laughter. And to have it chosen meant the world to me. And to see it in the gallery exhibited, it's fantastic.
What do you think of the whole show, and see what other artists' interpretations are?
A huge variety, fantastic quality, draftsmanship, ingenuity, imagination. I think as you walk through, there's so much to see. There's a particularly moving painting that struck me on the first night. This artist, Stephanie Brunton, a really moving story behind her painting. But you need to come and see it yourself and read it.
Absolutely, well. And you were looking at Roy Eastland's work.
I was looking at this with Roy, and he was explaining it to me. And another one that really moved me when I first saw it, about all these people that lived on this particular street and how he's recreated in their memory a little story about each of them and their histories. And they're exquisitely drawn. They're absolutely beautiful. Each little drawing, each portrait of this person that lost their lives. Deeply moving, and I was saying to him, how did he keep working on this? Because it affected me looking at it, and he did say he had to stop and start and come back to it, but it's beautifully presented as well. Loved it.
It's great to see a mixture of artists in one place, which is a regenerated Margate and a small artist village. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
I'm at the pie factory with my family. We've come down from Faversham, and it's just fantastic to think that local art is represented in this way. So I've been around looking at the various bits of artwork, and it's made me reflect on my own memory, and especially I like the wording underneath some of the pictures. So for example, it said about how memories bash into each other and splinter on one, and that's kind of resounding in my head, so that's what I think about today. It's great.
As I came in through the door, I actually got quite tearful, though. That I felt very touched by this sense of people showing their memories in this way. But as I walked round, and maybe it's to do with the building, I'm uncertain, but as I walked round, it was like it became just one mind, if you like, with its memories hanging on the walls so all can see. Whether this is because I've worked for years as a counsellor and a psychotherapist, I don't know. But it's like, because each one is, when I think of my own memories, it's almost like I have a gallery. And an image will bring back a particular memory, a sound will bring back a particular memory, a colour, a smell, and so on, will go straight into a memory. And in a way, as you walk around and you see the different pictures, see the different colours, you're not just taken into the memory of the person who constructed it. It takes on a form of like a mind itself, with its memories out, waiting to be seen or touched once again. My creative part that's always been there was actually waking up. Because I started having ideas, okay, I didn't get around to doing it, but I will do. Whatever you've got coming next, I will do.
Welcome back. So that was Memory. So there is only one more day to see the exhibition, which is tomorrow. It's at Pie Factory Margate. Pie Factory Margate on Broad Street in Margate. And it's open tomorrow from 10 to 4. Okay, I eventually got it right. We're going to have one very quick break, and then I will tell you about a few things that are happening in Kent.
Find suppliers and quote for work with local Kent businesses at supply-my-business.co.uk.
Hello, we're back. They're quite quick, these breaks, aren't they? So, a few events. So we have Shazam. It's an art fair on Saturday, the 28th of November, between 10 and 5. It's at Lower Hardress Village Hall. Is that?
Lower Hards.
Thank you very much.
I think.
Yeah, no, it must be near Canterbury.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Lower Hards Village Hall, near Canterbury. Postcode is CT4 5NP. Yeah, well, this accent will never leave me. So Shazam is a celebration of the work of local professional artists and makers and offers an opportunity to buy unique and special gifts and cards for Christmas. So the contact is Pat Wilson-Smith, and I'll give you her number, 075 30446499. Don't panic if you didn't have time to write it down. It will be on the cancreativelife.org website, and you can listen to the show again as well. Another thing, we have Risky Margate. I mentioned it last week, but I will mention it again because the person who's organizing it will be our guest next week. So it's an event in Margate House that they are doing with Turning Point. And it gives Margate artists the opportunity to exhibit their artwork on the topic of risk, which is obviously a parallel with the massive exhibition that is at Turner Contemporary at the moment. And a panel of professionals in the field of art and culture will judge the work, which will be available for sale. And that will be between the 3rd and 17th of December at Margate House in Margate. The website is margatehouse.org. The contact is Lana Van Zeta, and again, Lana will be with us next week. So memory, I've told you. And then in Pie Factory Margate, we have another 2 events coming up. There is Precious Kent, Objects of Desire. They're contemporary precious metal jewelry and silverware. That will be from the 27th to the 30th of November. So you can spend a holiday in Margate, actually, because there is a lot going on. It really is just a coincidence that everything is over there. And then from the 4th of December to the 16th, there will be a powerful exhibition by a group of artists called A Handful of Dust, which will be about children in conflict. So that's going to be deep. A lot of meaning and very powerful pieces of art. The website is irememberthechildren.org.uk. So anything else maybe that Hazel and Emma would like to say that's going on, a workshop, an event, nothing special?
For once, I don't have any workshops lined up, but I will be doing some free webinars in December and January around how to start designing a life you love. So watch my website for that or sign up to my newsletter via my website, and I'll be happy to share information that way.
Excellent. So Emma, shall we give another shout about your campaign?
Thanks, Natalie. I think the important thing to say about it, which I don't think I said before, is that the main thing that we're trying to get people to do via the campaign is to sign up to become a subscriber to the magazine so that you receive the magazine through your door 11 times a year. So you don't have to go and find it. And you also, if you live in an area which doesn't have it delivered, you can still make use of all the information in it. And that subscription costs £25, and you can pledge that via the campaign site. So for that £25, you do get something rather special. And you can also buy a subscription for somebody else. What a nice Christmas present.
Exactly, just on time. But also your art calendar online. People
Yes.
can subscribe to publish events, but it's free to look at it, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Actually, there are 2 levels of listings on the site, so that if you can actually put your information up there completely for free, you can put a basic text listing, anything arts related, both an event or a class or workshop. And then if you want something more fancy, you can pay for it.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, both of you. It was lovely to have you.
Thank you.
All the
Thank
details on the website. You might come again because we need an update for your campaign and maybe a bit more tips about your coaching.
Yeah, happily.
Right. Excellent. Now we are going to leave you with a piece of music from Arcadia from their album Wrap Your Bones. It's called Save Your Soul. And in the meantime, I will say goodbye and thank you for listening. We'll see you next week on Channel Radio at 4:00. You will be able to listen to this again on the website channelradio.co.uk. But we'll leave you with some lovely music and see you next week. Bye.
Still, this distraction's hurting me. I'm left wanting. Would independence set me free? But I know for sure my feelings run deeper than yours do. It's too much to take what you can't prove. I'm stepping away now before I fall. Save your soul, walk away. Maybe you'll find out what you're leaving. Save your soul, walk away. Maybe you'll find out what you're losing now. Who you're fooling now. I won't be around. Oh, oh, oh. So please don't ask these things of me. I'm in too deep now. I'll need the strength if I am free, so that I can find space in my head not invaded. I'm feeling so tired and so jaded. I know what I want and it's killing me. Save your soul, walk away. Maybe you'll find out what you're leaving. Save your soul, walk away. Maybe you'll find out what you're losing now. Who you're fooling now. I won't be around. Save your soul, walk away. Maybe you'll find out what you're leaving. Save your soul.